Welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, do not forget to press the subscribe button and the bell icon. And I assure you, you will not be disappointed. Hello everyone, I'm back with another very important topic, and that topic is called overthinking. I had received a message from one of my viewers saying ki ma'am, I think a lot, I'm so much into thinking that my whole 24 hours go in it, and it's affecting my health. My BP's gone up. I am unable to sleep. I have migraine all the time. Do you think I have some kind of a problem? Why do I do so much of overthinking? And when I read that message, I thought, oh my God, this is something we all do, including me. We all overthink. And overthink, in simple words in Hindi, is called Chinta. And a lot of Chinta actually takes us to our Chitta. Chitta means to the burial ground. If we are too much into too much of thinking, sometimes it affects us physically, mentally, socially, culturally, spiritually, and we completely lose our own selves, and maybe we get so sick and so much down in life that we give up on life, and overthinking can lead to a lot of problems. So today I will be talking to you about overthinking, and I'll also tell you that a lot of people who are into pageant have a habit of overthinking. क्यों हुआ, कैसे हुआ, मैं काश ऐसे कर लेती, काश मैं वैसे कर लेती, I should have, I could have, and what not we keep thinking. So it's extremely important that we take charge of ourselves, we take charge of our thoughts. We have to think, this is natural, but how much to think and what to think is extremely important to understand. Brain in human body is a machine for thinking. And of course, a machine will do its work. The brain will continue to create thoughts. The brain will continue to make us talk inside. And that is what makes us alive. Imagine if the brain stops thinking, we are as good as dead, isn't it? So thinking is normal. There is nothing wrong in thinking. Brain has a mind of its own. So you can't stop it. The more you try to stop your thoughts, the more they will come. Have you ever tried that? If people who are just learning meditation and they are told, okay, don't think, just concentrate here, just concentrate there. And when we try to do that, the more you stop your thoughts, the more faster they come. So first thing, what that student has asked me is something wrong with me? No, there is nothing wrong with you. It is not a disorder. But overthinking can lead to a disorder. It can lead to depression. It can lead to anxiety. It can lead to a lot of other things. So you must know how to control it. And sometimes you can't even control it properly because maybe you have inherited genetically, maybe there is some psychological issue. So sometimes it is difficult to control it on your own. You might need some help from outside to do that. And most of us, we all overthink whenever we have problems in our lives, maybe a financial problem, maybe a relationship problem. So we are always overthinking, kyun hua, kaise hua, kya kare, kaise na kare. We are all the time thinking, isn't it? The problem is that human brain finds it very difficult to differentiate between imagination and reality. अगर मैं आपको बोलूं ओके आपके हाथ में you have a tamarind, and you are just putting that tamarind in your mouth, and it's a very tangy tamarind, and you put it in your mouth starts watering. So your brain thinks that there is tamarind in your mouth. So that is not reality. That is just an imagination, but your body reacted. Similarly, human brain cannot differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. And whatever you think, the brain think it's reality and accordingly will give you the reaction. And if you're too much overthinking and if you're too much criticizing, complaining, it is going to not only affect you physically but also socially. People will start avoiding you. Who wants to be near people who are all the time criticizing, complaining, and talking negative? So overthinking is of basically two types. Either it is solution oriented or it is problem oriented. So some people are so much focused on problem oriented, क्यों हुआ, ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए था, मुझे वहां नहीं जाना चाहिए था, I should not have said this, I could have done this. So after the incident is over, they are only focusing on the problem. They are just going back again and again and again into the past. Whereas the second type of thinking is called solution oriented overthinking, where you are finding alternatives to solve that problem. अच्छा ऐसा करके देख लेते हैं, अच्छा ऐसा करके देख लेते हैं. Overthinking to find a solution is still okay, but overthinking on problem is definitely not okay. I still remember an experiment a teacher did in a school. So she landed up in a maths class. She was a maths teacher. She landed up in a maths class with a bottle of milk. And then she called all the students outside. So when they all went outside, she took that milk bottle and threw it into the sink. And all the milk from that bottle started flowing out of that. All the milk was gone into the sink. And then she says, okay, did you see that milk get out of the bottle? From that bottle, and it was expensive milk, it's gone out now. So no point crying over split milk, or no point crying over the milk which is spilled, because it is not going to come back. You cannot revive it. That milk is not going to come back into the bottle. So the lesson she taught was that whatever has happened, whatever has gone is gone. You cannot revive it back. So why do we keep visiting the past again and again and again? What is the point? What are you getting out of it? The only thing past happens to us is for us to learn a lesson. Anything which happens to us becomes past. And when the past happens and we revisit it, we should always revisit it just to get the lesson out of it. What did I get out of it? And then take that lesson and move ahead in life. But going back and thinking ऐसा कर लेती, वैसा कर लेती, ये हो जाता, वो हो जाता is not going to help us. It is actually ruining your mental peace, because you cannot change that. Even if you wish that you could have, you should have, you cannot be in a time machine, go back and change that. Gone is gone. You cannot revive it back. So what is the point crying over this or the spilt milk? The only thing you can do is learn the lesson. What happened and why did that milk split? So I'm not going to repeat that again, and carry that message forward into your future. See, overthinking is like, when you're sitting alone and you're doodling. Doodling means you take a pencil and you start making circles. So, you go round and round and round and round and round and like this, like this, like this, like that is called overthinking. So once you get caught in that web of overthinking, it is difficult to find a way out. You've not left any way out. You are getting caught inside that circle and you really don't know how to go out of that. You cannot retrace your steps back out of that circle. So overthinking is something like that. Okay, let me give you another example. Suppose if you have bad stomach, you have diarrhea. You are not at peace. Your body will be not at peace. And how do you stop that? At your own, what can you do? What is the action you can do to stop that diarrhea? The only thing you can do, the first thing you will do is to stop eating, right? Similarly, when you are overthinking, there is a mental diarrhea. That means thoughts are coming from all direction and these are useless thoughts and your body wants to throw them out, and the body is throwing them out in the form of migraines and high blood pressure and all kinds of things. But how do I stop this mental diarrhea? The only way to stop is to stop the thoughts, which you cannot do. That what can you do? The only thing you can do is to pick up only those thoughts which are important and pick up only those thoughts which are going to be useful to you. So basically, if you look at overthinking, what does it do? It'll either take you to the past, I could have, I should have, or it will take you to future, I will do this and I will do that. So you take that lesson from the past And then you think of the future, that I will not repeat that, and I will do this and I'll do that. Now you are moving between past and future, past and future. But unfortunately, you're losing out on the present, which is now. And that is where your focus should be. So instead of focusing on the past and focusing on the future, you need to focus on the present. What do I need now? So when the thoughts are coming to you, start thinking, what is important to me now? What can I do now? And when you segregate those thoughts, those important thoughts from the useless thoughts, you will be able to take charge of yourself. So first and foremost, instead of overthinking, just concentrate on what you have, which you can use right now. Be grateful for what you have, which you can use right now, rather than thinking of, I could have had that or I should have that in future. Of course, plan for the future, but don't get obsessed with the future, and don't even think about getting obsessed with perfection. A lot of people get so obsessed to be perfect. Okay, I should have perfect body, I should have perfect complexion, I should have perfect height, weight, thoughts, communication, xyz. No one can ever be perfect on this planet. And if you run after perfection, you become more and more imperfect, because you disbalance your entire personality. I'll give you a small story, that Draupadi, who was from Mahabharata story, Draupadi, who was the wife of Pandavas, very spiritual. So she did a big puja. And after the puja and a lot of meditation, she actually managed to find God in front of her. So God asked her, what are you looking for? What do you want? What is your wish? So she said that, when I get married, I want to get married to a person. And she said, he should have this quality, he should have this quality. So she named 5 qualities to God, that, these are the 5 qualities I'm looking for in my future husband. So can you find me somebody like that? So God said, it's impossible. I cannot put these 5 things in one person. It is impossible. I cannot do it. I've never done it. She says, no, I don't know. I have prayed for it, and you have to help me out, and you have to give me these 5 qualities in my husband. So God said, okay. When she insisted, she says, well, let me see what I can do. And eventually, when Draupadi got married, she had 5 husbands, all with one special quality. So this is what I'm trying to say. I don't know how true this story is or how false this story is. I'd heard it somewhere. So I'm just narrating it to you in the context that no one is perfect. No one can have all the qualities. We all are perfect in our own imperfections. So do not overthink about getting perfect. That is another big road down the lane. So how can you stop? How can you stop overthinking? First of all, be aware that you're overthinking. Maybe it suddenly started because of some problem, and now it's becoming a habit. You are 24/7 thinking about certain things. So first thing, you need to be aware that you are actually overthinking. A lot of your time is getting wasted in overthinking. So awareness is the first thing you have to keep in mind. In any situation, as I said, instead of concentrating on the problem, concentrate on the solution. Instead of thinking what will go wrong or what went wrong or what will go wrong in future, concentrate on what can be right. How can this be right? What can I do now so that I don't repeat that mistake? Be in the present. So think about it in a solution based format. Put things into perspective. Don't make a small thing so big. If you go to see the bread factory, you will see they just put a pinch of yeast, and this much of dough becomes, this much with the yeast effect. Similarly, one negative thought multiplies like a yeast in our brain and becomes so big that it just occupies our entire thinking system. And then it becomes more big and it starts coming out of the body into our own body, making us sick. And because we are overthinking and we are becoming negative, our aura, our environment also starts becoming negative and negative. People start avoiding you. So one little problem has the yeast effect has led to such a big problem. So cut it right at the bud. Don't let this one problem become so big in your brain. So always put things in the right perspective. A very interesting method which I teach a lot of my children is to designate worry time. You see, if you have a problem and if you keep thinking about that problem 24/7, you have no time to do anything constructive and you're thinking all the time. So, best is find your productive time. Okay, maybe before dinner, I will designate half an hour as worry time. So, put a clock, an alarm clock for 1 hour. Find a very peaceful place where you can actually think. Take a paper pen, sit down quietly, and find a solution based problem. So, when you focus in a focused time, you get a lot of alternatives to that problem. So, I would always say fix a worry time instead of thinking of a problem 24/7. Fix up a time that this is going to be my worry time and this is how I'm going to use it. Another wonderful way of getting out of a problem is to think the opposite. This can happen. No, this will not happen. I cannot do this. Yes, I can do this. And I had also been talking about it in my previous videos where I talked about how to control your negative thoughts, where I said, wear a loose rubber band. So you have to be loyal to your own self that I'm going to punish myself if I think negative. And the moment a negative thought comes, pull that rubber band so that it hits you and you punish yourself for thinking wrong and then start thinking opposite. And if you do it 7, 8 times, you'll get so tired of that pain that you will automatically start thinking opposite. And it's a big subject. Thinking opposite is a big, big subject. If you actually look at the internet, you will find so many sites talking about thinking opposite, and it's a great way of brainstorming and coming out of problems to find solution. It all started in 1968 at the Mexico Olympics. There was this gentleman called Dick Fosbury who was to do the high jump, and there was only one way to do the high jump. It was called the straddle technique. In that technique, the athletes were supposed to keep their hands straight and chest facing the bar while jumping. And this is what all the athletes followed until Dick Fosbury decided to do it differently. He decided to jump in reverse. So instead of his chest facing the bar, he high jumped with his head first and his back facing the bar. To everyone's surprise, that day he broke all the records and introduced a revolutionary technique to the world. Today, this kind of a jump is called Fosbury flop. And when you apply this reverse thinking, opposite thinking in your daily life, you will find a lot of solutions. So when you are getting those thoughts, change the story. Change the story you're telling yourself. So instead of the negative story, tell a positive story to yourself. And remember, people from outside are not so very influential in your thoughts as much as you are influential for your own thoughts. So whatever you think, so shall you be. It's because we are the stories we tell ourselves. And as I keep telling, let go of the past. There is no point going back and crying about the past because you cannot change it. So instead of thinking what could have and what should have, think on what you can control. So when you're looking for the solutions, look for the things you can do, you can control, which are in your hand. And things which are not in your control, just surrender. Energy flows where attention goes. So best would be if you're getting a lot of thoughts, start writing them down. And when you write them down, you will be able to realize how many of them are the thoughts which are of no importance. Half the problems we think are happening in our head, not in reality. And when it actually happens, it's never there. So when somebody comes to me with a problem about the future, what will happen, what can we do, and blah, 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 I always have one solution. We will cross the bridge when we get to it. I don't think about that problem now. I will think about it when I'm about to get there. It's then that I have to think about it. If I start thinking about that problem now, which is way ahead in future, I would create a lot of hurdles for my own self. So best is be in the present. What can I do now? Not what will I do then. Fine, have a roadmap, that's fine. But you don't have to be obsessed about it. And then, people have a roadmap, even that roadmap, they find the hurdles. This will happen, then this can also happen, then this can also happen. And those things are not happening actually, they are all happening in your head. And the last but not the least, you are trying your best, but again and again, your mind is taking you back to that problem. Distract your mind, find some hobbies, go out for the run, go to the nature, get a hobby, do something which distracts your attention, which completely takes away. Listen to music, read a book, or find a friend, go talk to a friend, go watch a movie, do something which completely distracts your mind, and then think about the worry at the worry time. So I hope this solution, these are little solutions, but you have to work on them. Nobody is going to come from outside to hold your hand. If the problem is yours, you have to find the solutions. The others may give you some advice, but even that advice can lead you to overthinking. So if there is somebody who's genuine you can talk to, do go ahead and talk to that genuine person who's always helped you out, and maybe together you can find a solution to that problem. But if it is your problem, it should be your responsibility to find a solution. And remember, it's your life, it's your journey. If you give the steer wheel of your car to someone else, God knows where that person will drive that car. So always be in charge of your own driving and find your own solution, find your own path. Don't go back to the past, learn the lesson. Don't go to future, which we know, don't even know will happen. Be in the present. Present is called present because it's a gift from God. And in a moment, this present will also become past. So seize this moment. Be in this moment. Be mindful of being where you are right now and what can you do right now instead of overthinking. So think about it, and I hope this helps you. I will see you again with another video very soon. Till then, stay safe and stay happy.